Hi guys, it's MakerDev. Today I built an AI blog post generator for you, and I believe that it's efficient as much as products on the market. So you don't have to pay anything. Just watch this video and build your own AI blog post generator. If you are ready, let's get started. Before diving directly into the code, let me show you how we structure our app. In the first step, we need to get the user's requests. This is going to be context for our blog posts. And based on this request, we will generate our blog post outline, because it's much more efficient than generating the blog post directly. And we will stream this response to the user. And in this step, users can edit outline. For example, they can add headings or subheadings or change one of them. And once they are ready, they can generate their blog posts. And again, we will stream this response to the user. Let me show you how it works in real life. First, let's create a topic, a context for our blog posts. How to create a digital marketing strategy. And now we are ready. We can edit this outline. Let me show you. For example, in our track and analyze your result section, we can add a subheading and write run A/B tests like that. And also we can move this subheading into here like that. Or maybe we can add new section, or we can delete this section as well. Okay, cool. Now I'm ready. I can generate my blog post. As you can see, now we can directly stream the response to the user, because we don't need to modify the final output since it's only a text response, right? Okay, our blog post is ready, and I believe that it's a very complex and very efficient blog post based on our outline. If you are not happy with your output, you can always go back to your outline and change the outline based on your requirements, and then you can generate a new blog post again. Okay, now we are ready to dive into code. First, let's check our homepage. In our homepage, we have a separate component for each step that I explained you in the beginning of this video. First step is getting users' input. And also we hold our step in a state. This is a Jotai custom hook to get the state value. We will dive into this part in the later sections, okay? And with this animate presence, we can animate the mount and unmount states of components. This is coming from framer motion. When you wrap your components with this animate presence component, then you can animate the unmount or mount situations of your component, okay? And if our step is 0, we will show the first step. So let's go to first step first. In this component, we basically get the user's input and send this input to generate outline handler. We hold our input value in a state with Jotai again. And also we have created our generate outline handler function with Jotai as well. Okay. There is a simple form in this component. And when we press enter, we send our input to the generate outline handler like this. Create a blog post about training dogs. When we hit enter, we run this function. Okay. Now let's check this generate outline handler function. Okay, let's go to file that we have created our generate outline handler atom. In our project, there is a folder called atoms, and we created our whole atoms in this form atoms file. Because in this file, we can reach all of our state, right? So first we have our form step atom. This is a primitive atom. The initial value is 0. And also we have a handler atom to manage our steps. For example, if we set our action incline or decline, we can go to next step or previous step. Also, we hold our errors in these atoms as well as our handling state and handling message. If we are generating our outline, it's generating outline or generating post. Okay. And finally, we hold our input state in this input atom. Okay. Okay. Now we can go to our handlers. This is the first handler. Generate outline handler atom. Let me expand this section first. Okay, cool. First, we need to get our handling state and input value. If it's already handling, we will return, or the input value is not good, we will return. Okay, because to generate a blog post, we need a sentence, right? Not just random words. Okay, so first we need to set our handling state and reset our outline error atom, and also we need to go to next step, right? Because right now we are not at the first step. We get our user's input. Now we are generating the outline. But first we need to reset our outline atom and input atom as well. Cool. Now we can generate our outline. This is a simple fetch function to make a request, our API. First, let me show you our API. In our outline API, we have a post function, post method, where we pass our request, and in this request, we call OpenAI with streaming functionality. For that purpose, first we need to create this helper function, right? Okay, let's go to our OpenAI stream. By the way, why we are creating this helper function and why we are using this streaming functionality? As you may know, in the serverless functions, we have a limited timeout. For example, in serverless function with Vercel, you need to get response in 10 seconds if you are in hobby plan. But generating those kind of things with OpenAI takes time. So you cannot get response in 10 seconds. That's why you need to start streaming as soon as possible. And with the edge runtime of the Vercel, you can start streaming in 10 seconds. When you start streaming process, you are not limited with the 10 seconds or 30 seconds, because you need to start your streaming process in 10 seconds. When you start it, you are not limited by these numbers, okay? That's why we need to use streaming functionality in our application. Okay, cool. In this helper function, we need to create our encoder and decoder. And also, when we are calling our OpenAI endpoint, we need to set our stream true. When we have make a request this endpoint, we will get a readable stream from this function, and we will start this streaming process and parse it and send those chunks to the client, and in final we will return our stream function. Okay, this is a readable stream, and in our API run we will return this stream response to our client, and if there is an error, we will simply return this error. Okay, cool. And remember that you need to set your runtime as edge, because you cannot stream your responses in the Node.js environment. Okay, cool. Now we can go to our handler again, and when we call this endpoint, when we make a request to this endpoint, we will get response, and if the response is not okay, we will throw an error. Okay, and if there is no data, there is no response body, we will return an error again. And in this function, we will create our reader and decoder, right? And while we are streaming responses as chunks, we will create a loop, and for each chunk, we will set our chunk value into our outline chunks atom. Because in this page, we cannot provide a simple text response to our users, right? Because there are some functionalities like adding subheadings or headings, or you can move your sections or your subheadings. That's why we need to modify our response. Okay? In our API run, we have a system prompt to create responses as we want to have. Let me show you. First of all, if there is an error, for example, if users wants to create, or if users send irrelevant context to our endpoint, we need to send an error, right? That's why we need to set this rule in our system prompt. If the request is irrelevant, or you cannot fulfill this request, return this message and reason of error. Okay? Let me show you how to kill a person. As you can see, it returns a response that explains the AI cannot fulfill this request because I'm sorry, I cannot fulfill this request that promote or encourage violence or harm towards others, right? Okay, cool. If there's an error, the AI will send a response like this. Or we need to send a proper example for the response that we expect from AI. For example, if user send this request a blog post about the topic of how to write a blog post, we need to get our response like this. When we provide this example to the AI, AI can follow these rules. You can modify these system prompts or rules based on your requirements. When you set the right rules, you can get the proper responses from AI, okay? To create our outline, we need to get our outline in an array like this. This is an array of objects for each section, and each section has subheadings like that, okay? Cool. Now, once we have our outline, we need to modify this outline because we need to set our IDs. Since we are creating a functionality for moving or deleting these headings or subheadings, right? Let me show you how to create a business strategy. As you can see, we can move our headings or sections like this, or we can create new headings, right? That's why we need to set unique IDs into our each component, each section, each title, each subheading, and etc. That's why we need to modify our response once we have it, okay? Then we can set our outline like this. Let me show you the step 2 component to make it more solid in your mind, okay? In our step 2 component, this is the step 2 component. We create our outline like this. For our sections, we create reorder group first. In this group, we map through our outline item, and each of them is a reordered item. This is coming from Framer Motion. It's a pretty complex functionality. That's why I will not dive into directly this part. Maybe this can be a topic of another video in the future. But to create this moving or reordering functionality, you can use this reorder component from Framer Motion, okay? In this component, we need to have a unique ID for each element that will be movable. Okay? In our outline item is a section in our application. In this section, also, we return our subheadings, and these are movable as well, like this. That's why we need to wrap our subheadings with reorder group and reorder items. Okay? So this is the reason that we need to modify our final response, the outline response, before sending to user. Cool. Okay, I think we are done with the outline part. Now we can go to generate post function. Step 3 is the final step. Once we click this save and continue, the user will go to step 3 and immediately start seeing the result of blog posts like this. As you can see, now we are streaming the response directly to the user. Let's check the step 3 component first. In our component, again, we get our states, our handling state, handling message, set post, or the error. Okay? If it's handling, we simply show our spinner. If there is an error, we simply show our error. And if there is no error and it's not handling, we show our post. Okay? First, let me show you our post component. In this post component, we wrap our response with this React Markdown component. And also, we provide these plugins into this React Markdown, okay? You can simply install those libraries to render your Markdown response in your application. As you can see, there are some headings, subheadings, or sometimes there are code blocks, tables, lists. You can render all your Markdown with this React Markdown library, okay? Also, you can set your Markdown class name, and in your styles, you can target this class to style your HTML elements. For example, we can change the color of these paragraphs like this. Okay? Once you set your Markdown class, with this class you can target your HTML elements inside this class like this. Okay, cool. Now we can return back to our step 3 component, and actually we need to return our step 2 first, because we are generating our blog posts. Actually, we start our generation process in this component, right? Once user click this button, we will start generating our post. That's why we need to dive into our generate post handler atom. Let's go to this section. This generate post handler atom is created in the same file with this generate outline handler atom. It's in atoms folder, the form atoms file. Okay. there are some differences in this handler because we don't need to modify our final input. So we can directly send our response to the user, right? First, we need to get our states, handling state, and our outline. If there is no outline or is handling, we need to return. And then we need to go to next step. And also first, we need to set our title, this one. And initially, the content is going to be empty string, okay? And now we can start generating our posts. First, we need to make a request to our API. Let's check our API first. Actually, this is the same API with the outline API, but in here, we have changed our system prompt and our rules. In the system prompt, you need to say always return in Markdown, okay? With this approach, AI will always return in Markdown. Also, you can set some rules like this. Use titles, use tables if you need, use code blocks if you need, use every title heading and subheading from outline, use numbers or letters in headings. I think the AI is not following this rule in our case. Maybe we can modify this rule with another words to make AI follow it, right? And also each subheading must have a dedicated paragraph or etc. Okay? And you can change your temperature to get more creative results, or you can set your max tokens to get longer or shorter responses. Okay? Also, you need to set your stream true as well. Cool. Now we can go to our handler again. These are the same processes with the outline handler. But in this handler, we set our handling atom once we start getting responses from AI, because once we are getting responses, we can directly set those responses, right? So we need to set our handling atom to false. And also, without modifying anything, we can set our chunks like this. We need to get our previous value and combine this previous value with our latest chunk. Okay? Cool. Now, we can generate our blog post, but maybe we can modify our outline first. Setting goals and objectives. Maybe we can put settings smart goals. Okay? And now we can click save and continue and start generating our blog posts like this. Cool. I think we are ready. There is nothing that we are missing. Let me check. Yeah. Okay, guys. So thank you for watching this video. I will put the GitHub repo into description of this video. You can get this application from this repo for free. You can fork it and use it for your own purposes. It's totally free. And if you like this video, please hit the like button. And if you want to see more videos like that, please subscribe my channel.